பேசல பேச
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Hope you're all doing good, right? I know it's been a long break, right? Last week we didn't have a class, but we will compensate it. Don't worry, right? Say next Friday or something. I think the other sir took my class, right? So maybe I'll take one of his classes next Friday, coming Friday, right? Is that I'm going to, compensate the class, right? And today I told you that we will have a quiz, and I think even we, what to say, segregated into groups. I think there were 4 to 5 groups, right? I think the group members, hope you all remember. Are you guys ready? Did you guys go through? Did you guys study the group 15? I think asked you to study group 15, right? Did you study, guys? Did you study? No, yes, no, something. No is also an okay answer. Yes, did you guys study? Did you guys study? Yes, no.
No, sir.
No. Okay, Satyapriya says yes. Okay, they studied. No. Okay, Surya Muthu says no. Okay. What about everybody else? Ashik, Ananya, Akshaya, what happened? Did they study? I mean, not only them, I'm asking for everybody. Okay, so for the people who didn't study, right? So maybe you have a good news today. We are not going to have the quiz today. Okay, so it's because like I came from a trip, so I'm in Bangalore right now. Like the materials which are required for the quiz, studied a little bit, sir, but didn't prepare for the quiz. Okay, fine, Ananya, no problem, right? You are escaping this week, right? Whomever didn't study, you are escaping this week, right? So next week only we are going to have the quiz. Okay, right? This week we'll see what we're going to do. Okay, so next week without fail we will have the quiz for group 15. If you study or you don't study, right, we are anyways going on with the quiz. Okay, so this week whomever didn't, make sure that you prepare and come. And I'm telling you, if you're not going to prepare and come and sit just attend the quiz, right, it is going to be boring for you only, because every question I answer, what is the point that you don't know the answers for any of the question, right? So you do prepare and come, right, for the next week, right? So this week what we will do is, I thought it's been so long since I taught organic, right? So we'll solve some questions in organic, right? I think 2 chapters got over, right? Your alkyl halides and aryl halides, alloalkanes and haloarenes, and the second chapter being alcohol phenols, right? So 2 chapters got over, right? So we will solve some questions, say conversions, some kind of questions, whatever we'll try to solve here, right? We'll try to answer those questions here. Right? It's been so long since I taught organic. I thought, okay, today anyways we have nothing to do. Sir, I said quiz. Mithun Krishna, did you study? That's why you're asking. Yes, Mithun Krishna, did you study? Did you prepare for the quiz? Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, my bad. Hey, don't worry. You prepare more and make sure that your team members are going to win next week. Right? You prepare nicely again. Right? Again, there's nothing wrong in preparing twice. Right? Do not worry. Next week, without fail, we are going to have the quiz. Okay. So the thing is, I should have bought some materials with me, but because of the trip, I actually couldn't plan it properly. But don't worry. Next week, we're going to have it. Okay, Mithun, right? Don't worry. Right? We are going to have it. Okay, fine. So I think let me share my screen and I think I will start right away. Anybody has any comments? Anyone wants to scold me? Sir, you said quiz, but no this. Anybody wants to tell any of that? I'm okay with it. Go for it. Constructive criticism is always okay for me. What?
No problem, sir.
No problem. Okay, then you're a, like say, very good guy. But I think Mithun would be very angry with me. Sir, what is this? Like that kind of face he'll keep. Anyways, right. So. Okay, fine. Say if I ask you this question, say I have this. Okay, first of all, tell me what kind of species is this? If I have a positive charge, what is the species called as? Forget about the name. Generally, if I have a positive charge on carbon, what is it called as?
Carbocation.
Okay, thank you. Carbocations. Okay, fine. Anyways. Okay, so I have these 3, say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, right? If I ask you to arrange them in the order of SN1 reactivity, what will be your answer? Arrange 1, 2, 3 in the order of their, or guys, are you interested in doing this? Whatever, basically we're going to solve questions only. Okay, so you want to do this in the form of a quiz today? Are you okay with it?
So we'll try, sir.
Okay, is everybody okay? Like you want to do this as a quiz, as a team? Are you guys ready? Whatever, we are going to solve only questions today. Maybe little I'll teach you also. Maybe if you don't know the answers, obviously I'll teach you. But are you guys okay with doing this as a quiz, or next week only we'll properly have? So any suggestions?
So we'll have it next week.
Okay, fine, cool then, fine then. So we'll not have a quiz, we'll just have it as an open discussion. Anybody can answer. So yeah, go for it. Tell me, I have 1, 2, 3, right? And if I ask you to arrange the following in the order of their SN1 reactivity, okay, SN1 is what, guys? What is the full form of SN1?
That is nucleophilic substitution unimolecular.
Nucleophilic substitution unimolecular. Okay. So how many step is the mechanism? How many step mechanism is this? 1 step, 2 step, 3 step? How many steps?
2, sir. 2, sir.
2 steps. Retention
Okay,
in
two steps.
inversion.
2 steps.
Okay, 2 steps. What are the 2 steps? What is the first step?
First step is cleavage of bond. Second is formation and cleavage. Sir.
Okay, cleavage of what? Cleavage of what bond?
Carbon and oxygen.
Carbon and oxygen. Carbon and
Halogen.
carbon and the halogen. Right. So this is how it will be. So now you have to do the arrow markings very properly, people. You have very limited mechanisms in your textbooks, right? But for those mechanisms, the arrow shootings, the arrow marks which you put are very, 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 very important. Okay. Now, how will you put the arrow here? This is how you should put the arrow. Like the bond cleavage, how will you show is like this, right? Now, this means what? There are 2 electrons here. That is a covalent bond. Now, if you break it, these 2 electrons will go to the anion. I mean, these 2 will go to the halogen. So what will happen? Carbon will get a positive charge and there'll be X minus. This is the first step. Okay. What is the second step? In SN1, what is the second step? Forming, okay, cleavage. You should not say cleavage. You should tell perfectly that formation of carbocation by the cleavage of CX bond is the first step. The carbocation word is very, very important for your board exams. Okay. So anyways, this is the first step. What is the second step?
So the retentivity, sir. Retention product is formed.
Retention product is formed. That will depend on whether the... Sir, when you go...
Product or inversion or retention, sir.
Yeah, I understand what you're telling. So what you have to understand is that retention or say inversion, all these things will happen only if I have chiral carbon. What is chiral carbon first?
Asymmetric carbon.
Okay.
Any carbon that is attached to 4 different groups.
Correct. Right. Say I know a carbon can have 4 bonds, 4 different groups if I have, right? This is what is called as a chiral carbon. Right. Now this, if I have a chiral carbon, then say retention, inversion, all these are stereochemical aspects. When I say stereochemistry, I'm talking about the 3D point of view, right? So that might change. Okay. But if it is not a chiral carbon also, the step is not that. You cannot tell the second step as retention or inversion. No. What is the second step? How will you describe the second step?
Nucleophilic
attack. Correct. So you form the carbocation. You already have the carbocation. Now you have the incoming nucleophile. Now that will attack the positive center. See again the arrow shooting, right? I'm doing the arrow shooting from the nucleophile. Always remember, nucleophiles will attack the electrophiles. Always remember this. It's not like, nucleophiles are negatively charged. Electrophiles are positively charged. Okay, so when you put an arrow mark, the arrow mark should always be from nucleophile to electrophile. Always that. Nucleophile will only move. At least by convention. That's what we follow. Okay, now, then your product is formed. Right, this is what is SN1 mechanism. Very simple. Right, okay. Now tell me, here I'm going to have retention or inversion when I have a chiral carbon. So for example, this particular molecule is chiral. I'm going to have retention or inversion in SN1 reactivity.
Based on attack of that nucleophile, sir. Whether it's attacking the front side or back side. Front side means retention, back side means inverted product. Okay, good one. So it is front side means it is retention, back side means inversion. So what if I have 50-50 possibility? Then what will happen? If both can attack. That's the point. There is something called as racemic mixtures. Sir, but this is only for enantiomers, no, sir? Racemic obviously, like enantiomers, racemic mixtures, retention, inversion, all these will happen only if the carbon is chiral. If not, nothing. There is no talk about this. You understand the point, right? Only if I have this to be chiral, this will have enantiomers, like say the mirror images of each of them. Right. Now, if it is not even chiral, then there is no point in talking about any of these points, retention, inversion, racemic mixture, enantiomers. There's no point in talking about it when the carbon is not chiral. Right. So anyways, so now the thing is, as said here, right, now you can see that, the nucleophile can attack. See, what you understand is carbocation is a planar molecule. Okay, if I write it properly.
right? Say this glue can be anything, H, 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 or C, 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 whatever it is. Now this can be a planar molecule. Okay. Now, how do we say it that the nucleophile attack comes from the both side means what? Say if you're looking at my screen, right, my laptop screen or your laptop screen, the nucleophile can come like this. You hope you're looking at my video, right? Towards your laptop screen. That is one type of attack. Or it can come from the back side of the laptop screen. Right? Those are the two ways. And there is no restriction. There is no restriction that the nucleophile attack only from the front side or only from the back side. There is no restriction like that. Okay. So you'll always end up only with racemic mixtures. Okay. Whenever you have chiral carbon atoms, there is chiral centers present and you are going for your SN1 mechanism. Right? You'll always understand that you're always going to form racemic mixtures because there is no restriction on whether the nucleophile attack on the front side or on the back side. Doesn't matter. There is no restriction like that. Right? So you'll always end up with the racemic mixtures. I hope everybody knows what is racemic mixtures. 50-50 of the enantiomas. Enantiomas. Okay? Right? Fine. So yeah, this is about why did we start all this is because I wanted to answer this question, right? If I have these 3 carbocations, or if I have to ask you this question, like I'll ask you the question in a very different way. Right? Say this is, okay, I have all of these haloalkanes.
Sir, what
right?
is the second compound, sir?
CH3Cl.
H, okay, sir.
Okay, right. So yeah, I have 1, 2, 3. And if I ask you, arrange these in the order of reactivity towards SN1, what will be your answer to this question?
Sir, second one will be the first because he'll easily undergo SN1.
Easily undergo?
SN1.
Okay. So remember, if I ask you these kind of questions, arrange them in the order of, for example, especially for SN1, what is the criteria which you have to look for?
Primary carbon, sir.
Primary, okay, fine.
Primary will be the least and
3 degree
third
3 degree alkyl.
Okay,
Alkyl halide.
Sir, order means you have to arrange them in the increasing order only, no, sir. Like
any
which
order,
has the low
any
reactivity to the which has high reactivity, right, sir? Then
any order.
Okay,
I just want to know which is higher, which is least, and which is middle. That's it. That's all I know. Any order, whether from higher to lower or lower to higher, doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, like in case of SN1 reactivity, we generally say that if I have tertiary alkyl halides, they are more reactive than secondary, and secondary is more reactive than primary. Why is it like this?
steric
What is it
hindrance.
based on? Is this steric hindrance? If it is, what is steric hindrance?
Stability of the carbocation.
Right. So it is about the now you see. Okay, fine. Now, whenever you have 2-step mechanisms or more than 1-step mechanism, right, there is always something called as a rate determining step. Right? There is something called as a rate determining step. In the sense that, say you have so many steps in a reaction, say you have 3-4 steps. Okay, like you will study about them in chemical kinetics, but still just giving you a quick recap, a quick overview. Say I have the mechanism like this: A plus D giving C, C plus D giving E. There are 2-step mechanisms, or say 3-step mechanism. Say E plus F forms G, something like that. Okay, some 3-step mechanism. That basically A to G is what is the reaction, overall reaction, and this is the mechanism. So this is the first step, second step, and third step. Okay, right. So whenever you have these kind of multi-step mechanisms, right? Say now if you want to calculate the rate of the reaction, how fast the reaction occurs, right? Now, obviously you have to understand that the time, say this first step will take some time, say T1, this will take some time period to complete T2, and this will take some time to complete, that is T3. Right. Obviously, the entire time which will be taken is what is my total time period for the reaction to undergo completion. Okay. Right. But the thing is, we will not be actually calculating T1, T2, T3, everything. Right. What we'll do is little kind of approximation. Like it's like this. Say you are going to go from, say, Chennai to Pondicherry. Okay, we are going to go from Chennai to Pondicherry. Okay, say Chennai to say Pondicherry border takes 2 hours or say 3 hours, and from there that Pondicherry border to the place which you have to go only is 5 minutes. Okay, I understand, right? From Chennai to Pondicherry border is 3 hours, right? And from that Pondicherry border, you want to go into a place wherever you want to stay. That is only 5 minutes, right? So now can I tell approximately that the overall time period is 3 hours? Can I tell that? Obviously, I can tell that. Approximately, I can tell, because compared to 3 hours, 5 hours is very, very small. Sorry, 5 minutes is very, very small, right? So I can tell overall that, you know, like the overall time period taken for me to complete the trip is actually 3 hours only, right? So like that, say among these 3 steps, one of the step, right? One of the step will be the slowest step. That means that is going to take the largest amount of time to get completed. Okay, now that time period I take, other 2 time periods, I don't care about it, because even if I add them or even if I don't add them, the total value just depends on any one of the time period. That is the longest time it took. Whichever step takes the longest time. Say assuming like this, say this step takes 10 minutes, right? This takes 5 seconds, and say this takes 15 seconds. Right. So now the overall time period taken is 10 minutes, 20 seconds, right? 5 seconds plus 15 seconds, 20 seconds. So it is very 10 minutes, 20 seconds, right? But I will not tell it as in 10 minutes, 20 seconds. I will tell the total time period taken is only 10 minutes, approximately again, right? Because compared to 10 minutes, 5 seconds and 15 seconds are very, very, very small time periods. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have a multi-step mechanism, right, more than one step mechanism is there, right, you have to look into the step which is the slowest step, right? And that slowest step is what is going to determine the rate of the reaction, the time period of the reaction, right? Now that slowest step is what is called as my rate determining step. Where did I write it? Rate determining step. Yeah, right. So in this case, the second step, right? The second step, which is here, C plus E giving E, which is taking 10 minutes, will be the rate determining step, right? So remember, rate determining step is the slowest step in a mechanism. Okay. Right? Because obviously all the other time periods are important, but compared to the slowest step, all the other things will get over very fast. So even if you add them or don't add them, it doesn't make much of a difference in the total time period taken for the reaction to get completed. Okay, right. No, so now in this case, guys, right, in your SN1 reactivity, SN1 mechanism, there are 2 steps, right? Can you tell me which is the rate determining step, the first step or the second step?
Second step.
Second step, do you say that after the carbocation is formed, the attack of the nucleophile is going to take a longer time period than the formation of carbocation? Is that what you're trying to say?
Step 1, sir.
Okay, fine. So yeah, for step 1, the formation of carbocation, that is only the rate determining step, right? Formation of carbocation. You saw form this carbocation to this first step. This is the RDS. RDS means rate determining step. Okay, obviously because the breaking of the bond will take a lot of time, right? But once you have the positive charge, once you have the negative charge, they are going to get attracted very easily, and this bond formation is very, very quick, right? But breaking of this bond and formation of this carbocation, that is very, very slow compared to this. Obviously, compared to this is very, very slow, right? So this will be the rate determining step. Okay. Right. So now what you have to understand is, if I talk about the reactivity, if I give you 2, 3 haloalkanes, 2, 3 haloarenes, and I ask you to arrange them in the order of SN1 reactivity. Now, what you have to understand is, in SN1 reactivity, there are two steps. The formation of carbocation is the first step, and that is the rate determining step. Right. So since you're talking about reactivity, right, if I can form the carbocation very, very easily, if I can break this bond very easily, right, more and more is the easiness which I can form the carbocation, more and more faster will be the reaction, right? So now 2 ways of looking at it is like this. One way is, if the bond is very weak, I can easily break the bond, form the carbocation. That is one way of seeing it. Or if the carbocation formed is stable, right? Say now you understand that when I go from reactants to products, right? When I go to reactants to products, what you have to understand is reactants are little unstable, right? And the products are little stable, I would say. Only then the reaction goes in the forward direction, right? If the product is unstable, how will even the reaction happen is the question, right? So what you have to understand is more and more is the product stability, right? More and more will be the reactivity of this reactant also. That is how you have to look into it, right? Because everybody wants to become stable, right? The very reason why atoms converge to molecules, why atoms undergo to follow octet rule, all that is because of stability. They want to attain stability, right? So in this case, what you have to understand is, like, if the carbocation formed is highly stable, then I can tell that this reaction goes on faster. The react rate is very fast, right? So that is the reason why we tell that, if I have a tertiary haloalkane, is more reactive than secondary, and secondary is more reactive than primary, because the carbocation stability is such that, right? Carbocation stability is such that the tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary. Secondary is more stable than primary carbocations. Okay, right? Fine. So that we understood. Now, can someone tell me why is it like this? Why is it that the tertiary carbocation is more stable? Okay, fine. Let me draw some tertiary carbocations for you. This is tertiary. This is secondary. This is primary, right? Say now we tell that this is more stable than this and this is more stable than this, right? Now, how do we say this? Like, how can we tell that this is more stable than this and that is less stable than that? What criteria are we using here?
The number of bonds.
Number of bonds. Every carbon here has 4 bonds. Like, let's say this, every carbon has 3 bonds. The number of bonds are not changing.
So whether primary, secondary, or tertiary.
Group, sir. Bulkier group around it.
Okay, so if bulkier group around it, okay, if I have a bulkier group, like say methyl group, what is going to happen?
Sir, you have high electronegativity, like electrophilic reactions will be more. Electrophilicity of carbon will increase, no, sir.
Okay, right.
So nucleophilic attack we can increase. Will be more.
I understand. I understand what you're trying to say. Yes. I understand what you're trying to say. But the thing is, we're talking about stability. We're not talking about reactivity, right? So if you're talking about reactivity, obviously more and more is the positive charge. If there is high amount of positive charge on any of this, that is going to be, which is going to be highly reactive, right? Because high amount of positive charge, nucleophile will attack the higher amount of positive charge first. Obviously, I understand that. Okay, but we're talking about stability here, not reactivity, right?
Sir, here
so
alkyl group is electron releasing only, no, sir.
Okay, good. You're coming to the point. Alkyl group is electron donating. So what will happen then? Based on that, can you answer this question? How is it that this is the order of reactivity? I mean, this is the order of stability of carbocation?
Donate to carbocation and the whole thing will become stable.
Exactly. If I have methyl groups to be electron donating in nature, how is it stabilizing the carbocation?
Sir, carbocation will provide electron.
Does it do anything with hyperconjugation effect?
Yes, it does. Absolutely true. Hyperconjugation. But since if you talk in terms of electron donating nature, then we cannot speak about hyperconjugation. That is an entirely different story. But say, if I talk in terms of electron donating nature, how will I tell that this is more stable than this? If I have 3 methyl groups here, I have only 2 methyl groups here. So I say that this is more stable. How? I know this is an electron donating group. How are you saying that? If I have electron donating group, how is it more stable?
Sir, carbon is electron deficient only, no, sir.
Okay, obviously this carbon, in this case,
yes,
all the positive charge carbon is electron deficient. Okay.
Yes, sir. So the methyl group which is attached to the carbon will provide them electrons, which makes them more stable.
How is the question? If they donate electron, how are they becoming stable? Okay, they're electron deficient, and I give them electron. By that, how am I going to gain stability?
Carbocation part decreases, sir.
Carbocation what decreases?
The power of carbocation decreases.
Power of carbocation. Can you come up with a better word than power?
Stability, sir, or
stability? No. See, answer my question. I have something neutral. Say, compare this. I have CH4 and say I have CH3 plus. I'm just giving you a random thing. Which is more stable here?
CH4.
Sir. CH4.
Without doubt, obviously, this is more stable because I know when I have a positive or negative charge, it is prone to an attack. Right? It is very prone to an attack. Remember this, reactivity and stability, or stability are inversely related. Okay, highly reactive species. Why they're highly reactive? Because they are not stable. If they're highly stable, then obviously I understand that, excuse me, obviously I understand that the reactivity is less. They'll not react that much, right? So you understand that this is a neutral species. This is a charged species. Any day, any time, I can blindly tell you that a neutral species is always more stable than a charged species. Whether it's positive or negative, doesn't matter, right? A neutral species is always more stable than a charged species. Okay, now can you answer the question? I have electron donating groups and I have positive charges. Now, why is it that the order of stability is like this? Now, can you answer the question?
Tertiary carbon is because it is very less reactive.
No, you talk in terms of electronegative, electron donating nature of CH3. What will happen? So don't you see that if I have electron donating groups, please tell me, go on.
Sir, secondary carbon cation is only more stable than tertiary, no, sir?
Why? No, tertiary is only more stable than secondary. Okay, you want to come up with any support answer for yours? Why is it like? Why do you think it's like that? It's okay to have a discussion. Why do you think it's like?
Steric hindrance, sir.
Steric hindrance. Okay. Now look at this. We're talking about stability, right? Stability means it should be less reactive, right? Say now, if a nucleophile is going to come and attack a tertiary case, and the same nucleophile is going to attack a secondary case, where do you think it is going to attack more easily, tertiary or secondary? Which do you think it will easily attack, tertiary or secondary? Secondary, because if I look into the steric hindrance part, right, there are only 2 methyl groups, there are 3 methyl groups here. So nucleophile will find it easy to attack this molecule, than this molecule. Right. Anyways, we'll come back to that. Right. Try to understand, people. See, when I talk about whenever you have charged species, especially in organic, right? Now remember, amount of charge and stability are inversely related, right? High amount of positive charge, high amount of negative charge, that will always make the species very less stable, unstable, right? But more and more closer I go towards neutrality, right? More and more I go towards neutrality, more and more stability. That's why I gave you this point. When I look at this point, why is it that this is more stable than this? Because this is neutral and this is not neutral. Right? So, or I can compare a less neutral substance with a more neutral substance. A less neutral substance is less stable. More neutral substance is more stable. So what I'm trying to say is if you keep on reducing the amount of charge, the stability increases. Why? Because if you keep on reducing the charge, obviously the species goes towards neutrality, no charge. Right? So more and more closer it goes towards neutrality, more and more it is stable. And that's why I think this point is very clear. The more amount of charge I have, less and less is the stability. Right? So keeping this point in mind, now you only told me that all the methyl groups are electron donating in nature. Right? So if I'm going to donate electron, what will happen to the positive charge? Will it increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Decrease, because electron is coming. Positive charge is there. So the positive charge will be more and more neutralized by the incoming electrons from the methyl groups. right? So here I have 3 electron donating groups decreasing the positive charge. Here I have only 2 electron donating groups decreasing the positive charge. Say I'll put triple arrow mark. Here is only double arrow mark because only 2 metal groups. Here there is only 1, right? So I would say this is more neutral or more close to neutrality, right? This is not so close and this is little far away from neutrality. Because electron donating groups are there, they're going to decrease the amount of positive charge, make it more and more closer to neutrality, right? So that is the reason. Now this has the least amount of positive charge, then comes this, then this has the maximum amount of positive charge. I told you charge and stability are inversely related, right? The tertiary carbocation has the least amount of charge, so that will have maximum stability. Primary carbocation has the highest amount of charge, so that will have the minimum stability or maximum instability, whatever you want to call it. Is this point very clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
So it's
sir.
about everything. You're coming to the point very correctly, but at the last point, you're not able to tell it properly. Yes, methyl groups are electron donating in nature, right? So now what will happen if I have electron donating and a positive charge? Positive charge will decrease. More and more is the decrease, more and more it is neutral, more and more it is stable. Very, very simple, right? So that is the reason why we give this order of stability. Again, if I ask about reactivity, obviously it is going to be opposite because stability and reactivity are opposite, inversely related. That I told you. Okay, right? Tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary, secondary is more stable than primary. Okay, now this is one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it, I think some girl mentioned, I don't know the name, hyperconjugation. That is again a different concept. You can use that concept again and you will get the same answer. Tertiary is more stable than secondary, secondary is more stable than primary. You will get the same answer even if you use hyperconjugation. But we don't have to go into hyperconjugation for today. Maybe some other day. Okay, or whomever told about the term hyperconjugation. Can you explain, Kanna, what is hyperconjugation? Or you just
related to the delocalization of pi electrons?
Okay.
We learned so many effects last year about the stability of carbocation. So I
understood. Resonance, hyperconjugation. Okay, first, talking about resonance, which is a more familiar thing, I guess, compared to hyperconjugation. How will you define resonance, people? The answer which you said, Kanna, is delocalization. Delocalization of pi electrons. That is resonance, right? But what is hyperconjugation is delocalization of sigma electrons. That is your hyperconjugation. Okay, but anyways, we don't have to go into the details. Or if someone is interested, maybe some other day we'll see what is hyperconjugation and what is the difference between hyperconjugation and resonance. Okay, I think from this name you can understand. Pi electrons means pi bonds. Sigma electrons means sigma bonds. That at least you must remember. Like that one you must know. What is sigma bond, what is pi bond and all that. Anyways, so coming back to this, right? So we understood that how is this stability happening? That is a tertiary carbocation, how it is stable than secondary, more stable than primary, all that we saw. Right. Now, going back to the question. So what you understand is more and more is the stability of the carbocation in the SN1 mechanism. Obviously, more faster it will reach this place, right? From this to reach the carbocation, if the carbocation is more and more stable, it is easy for us to reach. Easy for us means it will take lesser time for us to reach there, right? So keeping that in mind, and I ask you to answer this particular question. Now can you answer this question? What you have to do now? You have to check, you have to remove the Cl from all of these and put the carbocations and check for their stability. More and more is the stability of the carbocation formed, more and more will be the reactivity. Okay, now can you tell me, guys, what is the order of reactivity here? Looking at this, 1, 2, 3.
To SN1, sir.
Sorry?
CH3 CH3 will be more reactive in SN1.
No. Just tell me 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, something like that. Which is highest, which is lowest? Which is highest? Which is the high? 3, 1, 2 means 3 is the highest reactivity?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and 1 is the least reactive. Okay,
no,
fine.
Sir,
Any other answers
2,
anybody have?
2 is the least.
2 is the least reactive. Okay, fine. Okay. Any other answers anybody has? So the order I got is 3, 1, 2. Right? 3 is most reactive. Sorry, 3 is most reactive. 2 is least reactive. Okay. Any other answers anybody wants to give?
Sir, could you repeat the question?
I'm giving you these 3 alkyl halides or aryl halides, whatever it is. I am asking you to arrange them in the order of SN1 reactivity. If all of these undergo SN1 reactivity, which will be the maximum reactive, which will be the least reactive? I mean, I'm asking you to arrange them in the order of reactivity. That's what I'm asking.
Can it be 3 to 1?
Okay, so another answer I got is 3 is maximum reactive, Kana? Is that what you're telling?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 3 is maximum reactive, 1 is least reactive. Okay, any other answers? Anybody wants to say? Wants to say? Okay, so 2 answers still now. Okay, fine. Okay, I would say both the answers are wrong. Right. Okay, let me come to this question. Right. Now let me draw the structures again for you.
That's 2, 3, 1, sir.
2 is maximum reactive. 2, 3, 1. What is 2 here? This one. 2, 3, 1. Again.
I mean 1, 3, 2, sir. I mean 1, 3, 2.
1 is the maximum reactive. 1, 3, and 2. Okay, let me check. 1 is this. 3 is this. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, you want to explain how you got this?
Because in aryl group, the carbocation will become stable completely.
How?
3 will have a carbocation. 2 will have the least.
Okay, fine. The answer is correct. Let me come to that. Wait. Okay, so this is 1. Okay, I think which was okay. This is 2. Okay, fine. Right. So this is 2. And this is your 3. Okay. Now what the first step would be? If they ask you this kind of questions, the first step what will you do is remove the CLs. Right. Now, when you remove the Cl, what will happen? Obviously, I have to put a positive charge on all the carbons, whichever has lost the chlorine or whatever the halogen is. Okay. So whatever is the order of stability of these carbocations, that would have been the order of reactivity for the alkyl halides. Very simple. Okay. Right. Now, see, look at this. This is not even a primary. This is methyl. So obviously you understand tertiary, secondary, primary methyl. I think, was it CH3CH2Cl or only CH3Cl? Okay, only CH3Cl. No issues. Okay. Right. Okay. So this is only methyl. So methyl carbocation is even less stable than primary because it doesn't have any electron donating. Right. Okay, fine. So now if you look at this looks like primary, right? Because I have one carbon, which is a positive charge. It is attached to only one other carbon, right? Now, in this case, you took this is secondary. This is methyl, so primary, right? This is obviously, I say primary, but yeah, we'll come to the point. Okay, so what do I expect is, this is not even primary. We can call it as primary. So what do I expect the answer to be? Is obviously secondary is more stable than primary. So we write 3, then comes primary, which is 1, and then comes methyl. I mean, this was 2, right? 2 is here. Okay, 3, 1, 2 is what we expect, but the answer is not this way, right? So now what you are doing is you are using only inductive effect in the sense that you're using the electron donating nature of methyl groups, and you are telling that, okay, this is more stable and this is less stable, right? But as Rohan said, this is what is called as benzyl carbocation, right? For benzyl carbocation, we cannot talk in terms of inductive effect in the sense that we cannot talk in terms of electron donating and electron withdrawing. No. Here, you have to speak in terms of, what effect?
Resonance, sir.
Resonance, absolutely. right? Now, if you look at this molecule, now say this pi electron can shift here. Okay, let me write the resonance structure, or I'll give you 2 minutes, people. Right? So for this CH2 plus, I want you to write all the resonance structures possible. I'll give you 2 minutes time. Take a pen and a paper. I hope everybody is sitting with a pen and notebook. If not, take it and write all the possible resonance structures of this molecule. Go for it. I'll give you 2 minutes time.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, inductive effect is more stronger than resonance, no, sir?
No. Like, look at always preference goes to resonance and then hyperconjugation. The least preference goes to inductive effect. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that by inductive effect, you find that some species is stable, and by resonance, you find the same species to be unstable. I will tell the species unstable only because resonance is more dominating than inductive effect. Okay, so if you get a clash between resonance, you got one answer, and inductive effect, you got one answer. Go for the answer which you got by resonance. Okay, because that is always dominating. Right? Okay, so anyways, I'll answer your questions, but I want to know what are all the resonance structures possible for this benzyl carbocation, CH2, benzene ring, and a plus. Go for it. Let me see how many of you can. What do you do? Everybody has my number, right? Guys? Guys, everybody has my number, correct? Once you finish all the resonance structures, I want everybody, I think how many people I have in this classroom? I have 15 people. So all of you write all the resonance structures and share it to me in WhatsApp. Go for it. I am online. I can look into your WhatsApp chats. I have my phone with me. Click a picture, right? I want to know the resonance structures for this molecule. Send me in WhatsApp. I'm looking in WhatsApp. Please, everybody participate. Okay. Do not sit idle, guys. There was 5 chats. What was the chat? Okay, same thing. Okay. Yeah. If anybody doesn't know my WhatsApp number, my number, it is this 8939219916. That's my number. You can save it and send it. Go for it. It's okay. It doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. I just want to know how much clarity you have with respect to resonance. That's all I need to know, nothing else. Okay, something came, I guess. And when you send, please send me your name along with it, guys. Don't send me only the pictures. Someone sent me, I think it was Mithun. Okay, sent me. Mithun, what happened to, there was benzene ring with the CH2, right? When the first structure I see CH2, in all the other structures I see only CH. What happened to the other hydrogen?
Double bond.
Check it.
No, sir. Double bond came, no, sir.
Yeah, double bond comes means why will you remove the hydrogen? All the resonance structures are almost correct. No.
Valency won't be satisfied, no, sir.
How valency will be satisfied? Will not be satisfied. It will be satisfied. Don't worry. I'll show you how. Check it. You check it. Valency will be satisfied. Remember, the first and foremost rule of resonance, you should not break any sigma bonds. Right? So this CH2 I have here, these are sigma bonds. Again, this is attached to the benzene ring. All these are sigma bonds. You cannot break any of this. You can play only with the pi bonds. Remember that. Okay.
So I sense.
Yeah. Checking. Yes. Rohan, I think it is correct. Yes, Rohan, you're right. But arrow shootings I'm not seeing properly. Arrow shootings has to be given properly, Kana.
Okay, sir. Sorry, I forgot to add.
Yeah. Yes, go on. Everybody participate. Excuse me. I'll give you 3 more minutes. Come on, everybody participate. Don't be a lazy bum. Go for it. Try. Okay, I can easily ask you to turn on your videos and see what you're doing. Don't make me do all that. You came to the 12th class. Don't make me treat you as kids. Right? Go for it. Do not sit idle. This is for your thing only. Anyways, I know the answers. I'm just checking how much you know. If you don't know, I'm going to teach you. It's very simple. Right? Go for it. Just send me.
Sir, can you repeat your numbers? Sir?
Yeah, there are numbers on the screen. 8,
Sir,
9,
is
3,
it
9.
1, 6 or 2, 6?
1, 6, 1, 6. Last is 1, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still waiting. I got only 2 responses. Okay, another came. Okay, Nandakishore. Okay. Nandakishore, your step is correct, but there are positive charges missing in both the structures you sent me. This is one step.
Sir, I wasn't very sure.
No problem. But it just your step is correct. The first step is correct, but put the positive charge where it should be. Like that's the only thing missing. Your first step is correct. Okay, Ananya's I got. Okay, Ananya, perfect. Right, there's no mistake. Everything is perfect, Ananya. The arrow shooting is perfect. The structures are perfect. Everything is fine. Good, Ananya. Okay, so I think rest of you are still trying. Maybe you can try. Maybe I'll give you 1 more minute, right? And so for you to send me the questions, and after that I will do the structures. another one. Akshaya sent me. Yes, Akshaya. Correct. Only last step is missing. There is no mistake. There is no mistake here. Arrow shooting is perfect. The charges are perfect. Only the last step is missing. Anyways, a nice attempt. Almost you got it. Only the last step is missing. Okay, fine. I think I will help you. Anybody needs more time, or can I? Okay, fine. So let me draw. CH2 plus, there is a bond. Okay, there is another one. Venetia. Okay. Okay, fine. Everything is perfect. Again, the last step is missing, Venetia. Everything else is perfect. Okay, arrow shooting is perfect. The charges are perfect. Last step is what is missing. Okay. Anyways, cool. Now I think I can answer this question. Now please understand. Okay. Now I told you that in resonance you can play only with pi electrons and nothing else. Right? Now what you have to understand is, now in this case, in this particular case, now you see, right? Now this carbon atom is electron deficient, or I would say, okay, this carbon atom is electron deficient. So when you transfer the pi electron, remember you can transfer the pi ion only to the next carbon. You cannot put this electron to this carbon. No, right? You can put this electron only to this carbon. That's what you can do, right? So now what is going to happen is you will put the arrow shooting like this. You will start with the pi bond and you will put it to between this and this carbon atom. So what is happening here? Now you see the electron goes to this and this. So the positive charge of this carbon atom is neutralized, right? But this carbon atom had a bond here. This carbon atom had gained a bond. Okay. But what about this carbon? This carbon had a bond here, but this has lost a bond, or I would say this has lost electron. Again, I repeat, whenever you shift the bond, you can shift it only to the next carbon atom in resonance, right? And why am I starting with, I can even start with this also. I cannot start with this. I have to start with this only because the positive charge is here. Okay. Now I have to put this. Now this carbon atom is losing an electron in the sense that it is losing a bond, right? This carbon atom, nothing is changing. And to this carbon atom, it is gaining an electron in the form of bond. So the positive charge is neutralized. Okay. So the next resonance structure would be, now CH2 is there. Now it is not going to be a single bond. It is going to be a double bond because you have put the bond here, right? And this carbon atom has lost electron. So you will put the charge there, positive charge. Lost electron means obviously positive charge. Okay. Now, similarly, I can do for the next step. The pi electron is here. Same thing. You can put the bond here. Look at the arrow shooting, how I'm putting from the pi bond to the carbon atom to the place where you're going to put the bond. Right. Now, if that happens, again, the positive charge is neutralized because this carbon is gaining the electron. This carbon, no change. But this carbon, again, you see that it has lost an electron. There will be nothing when you put the bond there. Right. So this carbon has lost a bond or an electron. Now, what will happen is that carbon atom will get a positive charge. So again, a double bond CH2, a bond here, because you shifted the bond here. Now, this carbon has lost the electron, so the positive charge is here. Now, this bond stays as such. No problem. Again, continue by putting this bond here, the next carbon atom. Again, this positive charge will be neutralized. I mean, I wish I should have done the bond perfectly. Anyways, right? So this would have come here. The positive charge is neutralized. For this carbon atom, nothing is changing. But for this carbon atom, it has lost electron, right? So now you have double bond CH2. There was a bond here. Now the positive charge is gone. Now where the bond is, now the bond is here. You can see they've shifted the bond here. Now this carbon would have lost electron, right? So this will have the positive charge. Okay. So I think it was Akshaya and Venetia. Till then it was very perfect. No problems. The last step. Now, which pi electron to use? This one will get confused. You have to use this pi electron. You have a double bond here, right? Now that will come to the next carbon, right? Again, what will happen now? If that comes to the next carbon, for this carbon, nothing is changing. But for this carbon, what will happen? Again, it has lost a bond. So the positive charge will come there. So the next structure would be CH2, and this carbon atom having the positive charge. And this double bond you shifted here. So there'll be a bond here, there'll be a bond here, there'll be a bond here. Okay, right? This is how you write the resonance structures. Okay, I think some other message came. 1 second. Was it for this? No, okay, not this. Anyways, right? So I hope everybody understood how to write the resonance structures. Okay, very, very simple, but you have to practice it. Obviously, more and more practice only you'll be able to write it properly. Okay, so now you started with this, you ended with this. Okay, now remember, whenever resonance happens and the positive charge keeps on delocalizing like this, the positive charge keeps on shifting from one carbon to another, right? That brings in a lot of stability. Even more than the electron donating nature of methyl group. As I told you here, resonance is more dominating than hyperconjugation. Hyperconjugation is more dominating than inductive effect. Okay, so what you're seeing here is, even though this is a primary carbocation, right? It is not stabilized by inductive effect, but it is highly stabilized by resonance. Right? So that is the reason why we give this, right? Because this is one, it has resonance. So the first stability rank goes to this. Then comes your, first. Then comes your secondary, obviously, right? Between compared to this and this is secondary and this is methyl group. So obviously secondary comes first. So it showed is going to be 3. And obviously the least stable carbocation is 2. So that is the correct answer to this question. Okay, I hope everybody gets a point. Now see, in one question, I just asked you this question. Where is that question? I just asked you to arrange them in the order. But see how many answers we got. This is how you must study also. Everything, one thing also should not go without you understanding. Just because the teacher says, right? You must not be accepting it. You must do your own research. You must ask your own logical questions. Why is it like this? Why not like that? That too, especially in organic. You can ask a hell a lot of questions. A hell a lot of answers can be derived for every question you ask me. Obviously, out of the 3 parts of chemistry, that is physical, organic, and inorganic, organic is my favorite part. But yeah, this year I'm not getting the opportunity to teach you, right? Maybe for your juniors, maybe I will teach organic, right? This is my most favorite part. Yeah. Anyways, so is there any other questions anybody wants to ask me? Any doubts? Any clarity required anywhere? Anything required? Okay, fine. I hope everything is fine, right? Okay, let me go to the next question. What is the time? Oh, great. We have only half an hour more. Okay, cool. Okay, if I ask you this question, okay, so now, see, I have given you 3 test tubes. Okay, I have given you 3 test tubes and one test tube is marked. Okay, one test tube is marked 1, 2, 3. I'm like, okay, actually, I forget about 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I gave you 3 test tubes and 3 test tubes contain one, obviously. What is the name of this, guys? Please don't tell me you don't know. What is the name of this?
Phenol.
Yeah. Okay, good. Phenol. This one? Name?
Ethanol.
Ethanol.
Okay. Ethanol. What is the name of this?
Acetic acid.
Good. Acetic acid. Does any one of them has any color or all of them colorless?
Colorless.
All of them are colorless. Okay, right. So I give you 3 test tubes. Okay, I give you 3 test tubes and all of them are colorless, right? You don't know which is phenol, you don't know which is ethanol, you don't know which is acetic acid. All of them are colorless. Okay. Now, tell me, how will you distinguish? All of them are colorless. All of them are the similar kind of test tubes, right? How will you distinguish? Okay, sir, this test tube is phenol. This test tube is ethanol. This test tube is acetic acid. How will you do that? Tell me.
Sir, by smell or by
Smell.
paper?
Smell? Okay, fine. If I ask you, that is actually there is something called as introductory steps, and there are something called as confirmatory tests. Confirmatory test, by confirm, 100% sure that you can tell that smell, color, all these things are like, say, preliminary steps. What is the confirmation step? You tell me.
Sir, phenol, no reaction will occur, sir.
With what?
Phenol, sir.
Phenol doesn't react with what? Reaction, there should be two reactants, right? What reaction are you talking about?
Any carbonates? Or
Carbonyls, all of them will react actually. Phenol will react.
Carbonates,
ethanol will also react.
Carbonates, sir. Carbonates.
Carbonate is CO3 2 minus, or okay, fine. Basically, you're telling Na2CO3. Okay,
Sir, because when any compound reacts with carbonates, it will evolve carbon dioxide gas.
Absolutely. Okay.
Phenol, I think it won't evolve anything, any such kind of thing.
Okay, fine. Then
so you can ethanol will release, sir. Ethanol and acetic acid, I think it will release.
Okay.
Acetic acid, I'm sure, sir. I don't have idea on ethanol, sir. But I think acetic acid will
acetic acid, you're sure?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Fine. Okay, fine. So I would say it is 80% correct what you said. Right? Okay, fine. Go on. Or if anybody wants to continue, please continue.
To differentiate between phenol and ethanol, we can even test their boiling point. Right? So
boiling point, not so
ethanol
different.
will have higher than phenol.
Ethanol will have higher. No, ethanol will generally have lower boiling, but it is not that different. Say one thing is 68 degrees Celsius, the other one is 72 degrees Celsius. But due to some impurities present, it might be higher or lesser. You should have studied your solutions, right? Elevation and boiling point. All these things can happen if you have some impurities, right? So that is not a good method. No.
Sir, I think ethanol will not dissolve in Na2CO3, sir, because there is no hydrogen bonds present in them.
Ethanol will not dissolve in Na2CO3. Dissolve is a wrong word. And the reason which you are telling, because it doesn't have hydrogen bonding, no, that's not how you say it.
Miscible, sir.
Miscible? No, it has nothing to do with dissolutions. It has nothing to do with the formation of solutions here. No.
No, sir. When they both react only, no, sir, we can see whether
when they both react, obviously. When they both react, it will form a miscible solution, obviously. Yes. So you're telling
ethanol won't react with Na2CO3. Organic
so you're telling phenol won't react, ethanol also won't react,
acetic acid will react. I think it gives CO2, sir.
Done. This point is absolutely right. Okay, what you said is right. So now we have found out one test tube which will react with Na2CO3. Whichever reacts with Na2CO3 is CH3COOH. So one test tube is done. Okay, fine. What about phenol and ethanol? How will you distinguish?
Sir, phenol is acidic. Sir, phenol is acidic, no, sir?
Yeah, phenol is acidic.
Litmus paper. We can use the litmus paper, no, sir? Litmus paper or dye.
It is not that acidic to turn red litmus blue. No. Blue litmus red, sorry. It is not that acidic enough. It's like when you put it in HCl, the color changes like that very instantly. But phenol is acidic, but not that acidic enough to change the color so instantly. And actually, if phenol can do, say in... but not a good test. Like, see, so think in a similar way, with the way you thought for Na2CO3. Like, that is the best way to look into it. So if phenol is acidic, if you go by that method,
soluble in water. Phenol is soluble.
Even ethanol is soluble in water. Why not? Even acetic acid is soluble. Everything is soluble in water. And if you go by the litmus paper test, even your acetic acid will give the litmus paper test, right? Because it is acidic. It has something to do with the acidic nature, people. This question is about the acidic nature of phenol, alcohol, and acids. It has something to do with the acidic nature only. And obviously strength of the acids, whichever is, yeah. Okay. Can I answer? Or anybody needs a little more time to think?
Sir, acidic means they will react with water and liberate H2, no, sir?
They will react with water and liberate H2?
Sorry, sir, they react with metals.
Okay, coming to the point. Yes, they will react with metal and they will form H2. Absolutely correct. Yes.
So the active metals, whereas suppose if phenol is reacting with some sodium, sir, it will form sodium phenoxide, sir.
Yes, absolutely true. Yes, correct. Will the same thing happen for ethanol? Will the same thing happen for acetic acid?
Ethanol, it will liberate hydrogen, sir.
Okay, for phenol?
Phenol, that's what sodium phenoxide will be formed.
Basically then also H2 will be liberated. Okay. What about acetic acid?
Acetic acid, carbon dioxide will be formed. Carbon dioxide will be liberated.
Acetic acid also normal reaction. Again, H2 will be liberated.
Sir, but in addition, carbon dioxide will also be liberated, no, sir?
No, not necessarily. Carbon dioxide will be liberated only if you use the carbonate, Na2CO3. Just because you have the COO doesn't mean CO2 will come out. CO2 will come out when I make this react with acetic acid, Na2CO3. Then CO2 will come out. Right? But not with any other base or any other metal. You're coming to the point actually. That's good. Like that. The second point was correct, but you have to put it in a correct way for you to get the final answer. So the thing is, see, let me tell you.
NaOH.
1 second. Okay. Now you see. Good. You got it. Na, NaOH, Na2CO3. These three are the chemicals required. Now tell me, with these three chemicals, how will you identify which is what?
With NaOH, we can identify which is phenol and ethanol, sir.
With NaOH, we can, we can see whether which is phenol, which is ethanol. Don't you think NaOH will react with CH3COH also?
Sir, we can use Na, sir. Na, only sodium phenoxide will be formed. We can use Na to distinguish, no, sir.
See, Na will react with phenol, Na will react with ethanol, Na will react with acetic acid. Right? Now, NaOH, okay, fine. Can I tell the answer? You are getting closer and closer to the answer, but you are again little deviating. Can I tell the answer? You got almost, everybody is trying to get the answer very perfectly, but little deviation is there. Can I correct it or you want still more time? Can I?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now look into this. See, first you have to understand which is more acidic than that. Now tell me, among these three, which is the most acidic substance? Yes, absolutely. Acetic acid is the most acidic substance. Okay, which second rank goes to which one? Phenol or ethanol? Ethanol is more acidic than phenol.
Phenol, I think.
Phenol is more acidic. Okay, we'll come back to this point. Why phenol is more acidic than ethanol? We'll come to that. Okay, so now third rank goes to this. Okay, right. Now this we understand. The most acidic one is CH3COH. Next acidic one is phenol, and the next acidic one is CH3CH2OH. Okay. Now what you have to understand is, if I make remember Na2CO3 is a weak base. It's not a strong base. Okay. Na2CO3 is a weak base. Now you put Na2CO3 in the test tube, first test tube, second test tube, and third test tube. Right. In only one of the test tube, you will see that carbon dioxide is liberated. Okay. So in whichever test tube carbon dioxide is liberated, that test tube what CH3OH. This is done. Because now phenol and ethanol are not acidic enough to react with the weak base. Remember that. Okay. But CH3COH is strong enough to react with the weak base like Na2CO3 to liberate the CO2. Okay, so you add Na2CO3 to all test tubes. Whichever test tubes gives you CO2, done. That is CH3COOH. Okay, but still we have confusion, because both phenol and ethanol will not react, so none of the case we get CO2, right? So then what you do is you go for NaOH. Okay, now you add NaOH to the first test tube and the second test tube. Okay, now remember, ethanol cannot react with NaOH. Now, it is not even acidic enough to react with a strong base like NaOH. Okay, again I'm repeating. Ethanol will not react with NaOH because it is not even acidic enough to react with a strong base like NaOH. But phenol, as on the other hand, is strong enough to react with NaOH to form the phenoxide. Basically, it will form ONA, O minus Na plus H2O will be formed. Okay, right? So now that is also done, right? That's it. Actually, we don't even require sodium. Right. Once you have Na2CO3, put all these three, all three, whichever produces carbon dioxide, that is your ethanol. Sorry, that is your acetic acid. Right. And next you put other two are remaining. You put NaOH in both of them. Whichever reacts is my phenol. Whichever doesn't react is my ethanol. Very, very simple. Right. And if you put sodium, all three will react because sodium is very strong to react with even your alcohol also. So basically, if Na reacts with sodium, you're going to form CH3CH2ONA. Right? Again, I'm going to form ONA here, CH3COONA here, right? But NaOH, phenol and acetic acid will react. Na2CO3, only acetic acid will react. This is a very famous question in your board exam. I have seen this question repeating so many times in board exams. Very good question also. Okay, everybody understood? How are you going to distinguish here?
First,
right, I hope everything is
CO3 and then NaOH, sir.
Yeah, first Na2CO3 you add, whichever produces CO2 is acetic acid, done. One test tube done. Remaining two test tubes, you add NaOH, right? Whichever reacts is phenol, wherever nothing happens, that is my ethanol. That's it, done. Because phenol is more acidic than alcohol. That's all I understand. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Right. Now, the second question is, why phenol is more acidic than ethanol? Anybody wants to answer the question?
So in phenol, hydroxyl group is there, which is electron withdrawing group, sir. So sp2 hybridized.
Here also I have hydroxyl group OH. Here also I have OH hydroxyl.
Yes, sir. But right? Phenoxide ion is more stable than alkoxide ion, no, sir.
Why?
Due to the delocalization of negative charges.
Absolutely. Resonance. It's still resonance. That's it. It's because of delocalization of electrons or resonance, right? So the thing is, people, remember this. Whenever you go, you want to check for acidic strength in organic chemistry, right? Whenever you want to check for acidic strength in organic chemistry, remember, more and more acidic strength. The acidic strength is directly proportional to the stability of, anybody wants to complete the statement? Stability of, from 11th class, stability of, if I write CB, what comes to your mind?
Conjugate
stability
base.
Of, yes, conjugate base. Okay, fine. Now, first we'll try to understand what is conjugate base, right? See, from any acid, say HA, right, you remove the H plus. Now, what is remaining? A minus is remaining. A minus is what is going to be the conjugate base for this acid. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, after removing H plus from the acid, whatever is remaining is what is called as conjugate base. Okay, so what we're trying to say here is that if the conjugate base formed is highly stable, then I would say that the acid is very strong acid. If the conjugate formed is very weak, then I will tell that the acid is also very weak. I mean, the conjugate base formed is unstable. I'm sorry, right? If the conjugate base formed is unstable, then I'll tell that the acid is very weak acid. Okay, so this statement you must be able to understand, right? Acidic strength of an acid is directly proportional to the stability of the conjugate base. What is conjugate base? After removing H plus, whatever is remaining, that is my conjugate base. Okay, right. Now, comparing your phenol and ethanol. Okay, I'll draw the bonds properly. Okay, this is your phenol. This is your ethanol. Okay, now, how will you check for stability? The first step is to remove the H plus, minus H plus. Because you're going to check for stability, right? Stability of what? Stability of the conjugate base. Okay, whichever conjugate base of these two is more stable, that particular acid is a stronger acid. Very simple. Okay, now when you remove H plus, basically I'm going to form phenoxide ion, right? And in this case, I'm going to form ethoxide ion. Okay, CH3CH2O minus. Okay, right. Now out of these two, whichever is more stable, obviously, that will be the better acid, stronger acid. Okay, now can't you see that I have lone pairs on this oxygen and these lone pairs can involve in resonance? Again, delocalization is happening. Okay, and here you see ethyl group is what kind of group? Electron donating or electron withdrawing group? Generally, alkyl groups are what kind of groups? Electron donating or electron withdrawing groups? How was methyl group? Methyl group was?
Donating.
Donating. Then all alkyl groups are electron donating in nature only. Remember this. Okay, all alkyl groups, methyl, ethyl, propyl, isopropyl, all the alkyl groups are electron donating in nature. Right. So now, if this is electron donating in nature, what will happen to the positive charge? Sorry, what will happen to the negative charge here on the oxygen? Increase or decrease?
Decrease. Increase.
Increase or decrease what?
It'll increase.
Increase, right? This is electron donating. Now, last time I had a positive charge. So positive charge, electron getting neutralized. But this is electron donating and I already have a negative charge. So what is going to happen? The negative amount of negative charge will increase. Thereby, what will happen to the stability now? It will become unstabilized because I told you more charge, less stability. Less charge, more stability. Right? So this will become unstable because of the electron donating nature of the alkyl group present here. Right? But in this case, you see, it is getting stabilized because of resonance. The lone pair will be, the negative charge will be delocalized here. So obviously this is more stable. Obviously phenol is a better acid than CH3CO. Ethanol. Phenol is better acid than ethanol. Okay, and that's the reason why you're able to, this is a theoretical explanation. And if you want to experimentally prove it, this is how we experimentally prove it. Like this will react with NaOH, but this will not react with NaOH. Right, but this is not strong enough to react with Na2CO3. Phenol can strong enough to react with NaOH, but not strong enough to react with Na2CO3. No, that reaction won't happen. That is possible only with the help of an acid. That is your CH3COOH. Okay, right? I hope this all makes sense. Right. Any questions? Anybody has any clarity anywhere required? Okay, fine. Yeah. Fine. We have just 10 more minutes. I'll ask you another question maybe. What question should I ask? Maybe I'll ask you a conversion then. Wait. If I have to convert, to okay, the double bond between these two carbons. Okay, so I want to convert this into this. Go for it. I would say you should complete it in, okay, take how many ever okay, take how many ever steps you want, right? Again, send it and finish it and send it to me in WhatsApp. do this conversion from this molecule, right, to this molecule. I want to convert. Go for it. This is basically CH3, C, CH3, double bond, C, CH3, CH3. Okay. My WhatsApp is online. Once you finish, you can send it to me in WhatsApp. This is actually a tricky, very nice question. I don't know how I came up with it now, but it's a very nice conversion. Let me see if anybody can crack it.
So should A be CH3, CH, CH2, CH3, Cl, sir? A, sir. First compound, reactant.
CH3, CHCl, CH3, correct only?
No, sir. CH3, CHCl, CH2, CH3 should come out, sir.
No. What I wrote is perfectly correct. No. Check the number of carbon atoms first. In the reactant, I have 3 carbon atoms. In the product, I have 6 carbon atoms. So think, how can we do this?
Sir, but in the parent chain, 4 is there, no, sir. But here only 3 is there, sir. Parent chain, the second compound, sir. Product.
1. No, doesn't matter. You have 3 carbons here, you have 6 carbons here. That's all you need to understand. That's it. Parent chain 3 and 4. Parent chain, however it's changing, doesn't matter.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. This was correct. When we do words reaction first, sir,
okay,
280.
That's
then
the first
we
step.
can do
Yes.
dehydrogenation.
Dehydrogenation.
H
and CH. H and CH you cannot remove. First step is correct. Woods reaction is fine.
Sir, can I do free radical halogenation, sir?
After the Woods reaction?
Sir, starting itself to remove Cl.
If you do free radical halogenation, what will happen? You'll get another Cl here, right?
Sir, but we can take that major product.
Okay, fine. Major product would be even major product. If you take again, it will be the secondary one only. That will be the major product. I'll get another Cl here. Basically,
After
you
that,
remove this hydrogen.
No, sir.
After that, if you dehydrate, what will happen? You'll get a double bond here. After that,
alkylation, sir.
Alkylation. Okay, how will you do alkylation? What will you use for alkylation?
CH3, sir.
No. Maybe your method can give you the answer, but think properly. Think about the ways you can increase the chain length somehow. One is Woods. Is there any other way to increase the chain length, guys?
Sir, what did you say, sir?
I have to increase the chain length, right? Now the chain length
Yes,
here
sir.
is 3. The chain length here is 3. Here the chain length is maybe not 6, but total 6 carbon atoms are there.
Elimination, sir.
Elimination. Elimination from where? Directly elimination here, the first step.
Sir, increase no, sir. Beta Sorry, sir.
Okay, fine.
Halogen
Yeah,
atom will
you
be
can.
removed from
Yes,
this.
yes, you can do that. Beta hydro. Then after that.
After the dehydrogenation, sir. Like,
see, if you go for elimination, I will be forming this particular product. Okay, after this, what do you want to do?
alkylation, sir. To add CH3.
Alkylation. Okay, that's what I'm asking. Alkylation with what? How will you do the alkylation? What is the thing which you'll use here?
AlCl3.
AlCl3. How will it give me alkylation?
No, sir. As the
Okay,
medium,
catalyst.
Sir.
Okay, fine. It is the catalyst. Okay, what is the main reagent then? No.
Can you CH3, CH3, sir?
CH3, CH3. Now this compound is one carbon. This carbon doesn't have
CH2,
valency.
sir. The middle one.
Okay, CH2. You will directly add this to this. No, that reaction won't happen. No. Okay, guys, let this be your homework, right? I will tell the answer to this question next class. Anyways, I will have to compensate the class because I have missed a class. So we'll have a class very soon. Think about it. And next class or whenever you find the answer, you can always WhatsApp me. I'll tell you whether it's right or wrong. Right? Let me hold the suspense till next week. Okay? Try for it. It's a very good conversion. Okay? I would say minimum I can come. I can think about a way in which I'll be able to complete this in 3 steps. Okay? Right? If you can reduce the steps or increase the step, doesn't matter. But I want the correct pathway from the reactant to product. Okay? Think about it and let me know. And don't worry, you will not be able to Google this. Impossible to Google this. Okay? So you have to think about it own. Okay? So yeah, next week we'll get the answer. You will get the answer to this question. Right? Any other clarity required? Anywhere? Something in the chat box. Okay. Fine. So then people, thank you so much. I think I'll stop here for today. Right? So you will get the answer to this conversion next week. And you also try. And if you get the answer, WhatsApp.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right.
Thank you, sir.
We'll meet
Thank
again.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.